I'm in Union Station right now. The building behind me was originally built in 1880 and now it's been rehabbed back in 1914. Still an awesome building. This is the heart of Denver. This is where everybody arrives once they get into downtown Denver. The train station's right here. This is the heart of the city. And now you might be wondering where we are, so we're gonna go into the map and I'm gonna show you exactly where we are.
Hey, what's up guys? I just wanted to show you really quickly on the map where we're gonna be going today so that you can have a reference. We're gonna be over here in this area by Union Station, which is where everybody comes in as soon as they arrive into Denver. That's the major downtown area, especially for tourists. So we're gonna start at Union Station. We're gonna go to the Central Business District. We're gonna go to Capitol Hill, and we're gonna go to the Highlands neighborhood so that we can compare and contrast these neighborhoods and so that you can know where you want to live when you're moving to Denver, Colorado. Back to the road.
We're gonna walk a block from here and I'm gonna show you one of the cooler buildings in Denver, Colorado, in my opinion. One of the things here is that there's a hotel right over here. There's places to go eat. There's places to go eat. It's one of the fanciest waiting room areas that you're ever going to see in a train station. There's restaurants, stores, everything's in Union Station in Denver, Colorado. Now, you might wonder if all of the buildings over here in Denver, Colorado are that old. And the reality is, over here in this area, it's really not. Only about 5% of the buildings in this area were built in the 1800s. About 45% of the buildings were built in the 1980s or younger. Most of the buildings here in this area were built after the 1960s. So it's relatively a young city compared to other cities in the US. However, I will say the older buildings have been kept up. So it's really cool to go and see those buildings. And we're gonna go into Larimer Square in a second, but first, we're gonna go into a cool brewery. It's just one block away from Union Station. Let's go. Now, you might want to live in this area. However, I have to tell you, this area is 97% condos and apartments and only 3% single family homes. So if you wanna live in a single family home, this is probably not the area for you. Now, let's go into the next one.
If you want expert insights to make your move to Denver, Colorado a success, you gotta hit that subscribe button.
Right behind me is Wynkoop Brewing, and it was first founded in 1858. It is the first brewery in Denver, Colorado. It's just a historical piece over here in downtown Denver. So if you're in town, definitely check it out. They're still in operations right now. They have games upstairs and downstairs. You can have like a flight of different kinds of beers, so you can try many beers that they create. Awesome place to hang out, highly recommend it. I'm at McGregor Square. This is one of the places that's a favorite for locals to watch games. As you can see over there, we have a huge screens and all of the watch parties for the finals, like the Avs, the Nuggets, the Broncos, they're going to be played right over here. The environment can be awesome for some people and it can be annoying for other people. I will say it's an experience that you gotta experience, but not something that's for everybody. And McGregor Square has a different vibe compared to the other street that I'm gonna show you in a second. That street is more for like partying, going to a bar, getting really drunk. This is more like chill. You come here, you watch the game, you bring your family. It's just a little bit of a different vibe. But still, the proximity, it's just incredible. And that's one of the things that I love about living in Denver, Colorado. we're right by Coors Field, which is where the Rockies play. And one thing I really love about this area is that the Rockies play 2 or 3 blocks from Union Station, which is where the train station is. The rail gets there, it's public transportation. So when you come to a game, you don't really have to worry about who's going to drive you. Can you drink at the venue? You don't have to worry about any of that. And plus, again, Coors Field is right over there. And all in this street is where the nightlife is. There's rooftops. People come here and take some drinks before the game, and then after the game, typically if they win, you're gonna see them here as well. It's just a great experience that I highly recommend. And the nightlife is not just in these streets. There's other streets around the stadium that have nightlife, and especially, and you'll always see people here during the weekends. You'll see people hanging out. It's just a great place for younger people. I'm at the Colorado State Capitol right now. It's right over there. It has a golden dome at the top. And actually, there's a taxpayer-sponsored tour that you can take. And it's going to tell you about the history of Colorado. It's going to tell you about the history of that building. And I highly recommend it, especially because it's already taxpayer-sponsored. Take advantage of it. And a fun fact is that Colorado is called a Centennial State because it joined the Union 100 years after the Declaration of Independence in 1776. So Colorado joined in 1876. And I'm gonna show you a cool thing right here. It's gonna be the 1 mile marker. It's gonna be on the steps to the Capitol. Let's go. And right here is the 1 mile marker. So that means that we're exactly 1 mile of elevation. It's gonna be right over there. And on the other side, we're gonna have Denver City Council. They sit right on that building. And behind that is the Mint. We're gonna get to it right now. I'm leaving the state capitol right now. I'm gonna show you exactly where the Supreme Court of Colorado is. And one of the things I wanted to say is that unfortunately this area has some homeless people. So if you're visiting, or so if you want to come visit before you see some houses or you were thinking of moving, so it's just one thing to know. If you were gonna be living in this area, there's gonna be some homeless people around. But if you don't mind that, then it's gonna be a great place. Right here is the Supreme Court of Colorado. And one thing I forgot to mention before, over here in this park that you were just looking at, so Capitol is gonna be over there. Supreme Court is gonna be over here. Denver City Council is over there. So everything is over here in the same block. And right in the middle, there's a park, and there's a lot of events there. There's the Cinco de Mayo event. There is an event for Christmas. So just one thing to take into account, if you do decide to move in this area, you're gonna have tons of events. We're in Civic Center Park, and in this area, it's where you're actually gonna see some of the events. Some musicians can get in there and play, typically during the Cinco de Mayo party. So something, if you're coming during that time, definitely check it out. Plus, it's a beautiful park. We have the Denver Mint right over there, and it's actually the 3rd biggest depository of bullion gold in the US. And only Fort Knox and another place in New York have more gold than there's gold stored over here in this building. So just a fun fact of Denver, they actually have a taxpayer-sponsored tour that you can take. So take advantage of that if you're in town. And we can actually record the inside of there as it's considered a protected area. The tour doesn't really get into the meat, but it's still a really cool tour that you can take. And at the end, they actually let you see some of the gold bullion that they're storing. So it's a very cool experience, almost 100% gold. and it just doesn't get any better than that. I am a gold bug, what can I say? We're in the central business district, and most of these buildings that you're gonna see are gonna be office buildings, condos, and apartments. Actually, there's no single family homes in this area. So if you live here, you're gonna have to live in an apartment or a condo. And just for reference, only about 2% of the people that live in this area have kids. In other words, 98% of the people that you meet that live here in this area do not have kids. I'm at the Colorado Convention Center, and one thing that all of the locals like is this giant blue bear. It is something that's very unique. It's very unique to Denver. There's nowhere else in the world that I have seen a giant blue bear spying on the Colorado Convention Center. Spying on the convention center. If you have seen that in other places, definitely let me know. I would be curious to know. And you might be wondering what happens in here. There's actually a concert venue that connects to this Colorado Convention Center. So there's concerts that happen over here. The Home and Garden show, it's kind of like big expositions. One time I saw a volleyball tournament, like a state volleyball tournament. So all kinds of variety of events happening in the Colorado Convention Center. And one thing I really like about living in Denver, Colorado, is that if you're going into downtown Denver, very likely you can get around with the light rail. And that just takes pressure out of having to worry about the designated driver or stuff like that. Once you take the light rail, you don't have to worry about anything like that. The light rail is very efficient, but other than the light rail, it really isn't. So something to take into account. The good thing is right here, the Colorado Convention Center is right over there, and the train station's over here. So it's very convenient access. If you are Colombian, you might recognize the author of these sculptures. If you know who it is, let me know in the comments. This is the Denver Arts Complex, and one thing I like about this area is that it has many theaters, and it has a different theater depending on the activity that you're doing. If you're going to the orchestra, there is one, the opera, even stand-up comedy has its own theater. So it's a very cool experience if you get to come to Denver, Colorado. This is one of the most famous sculptures in Denver, Colorado. It's called The Dancers, and a lot of people come here to see it. I'm in Larimer Square right now, and here's where some of the oldest buildings in Denver, Colorado are located. Some of these buildings were built in 1890, but the good thing is that they have been very well preserved. So when you come here, you actually get to hang out. There's some restaurants, coffee shops, even a shop for a dog. So come here and check it out. I'm in Lodi right now. I'm on Platt Street, and one thing I like about this street is that there's a lot of businesses here. It's a good place to hang out. There's pizza, there's breweries. We're right next to Lower Downtown and the river, and it's a good place for people to come out. They hang out with the bike, they hang out with the family, have a picnic. It's just an awesome area to be hanging out with people. This is one of my favorite breweries because there's actually two breweries right next to each other. So if you get bored of one, you can go to the other one. One has more of a Mexican, Latino vibe, and the other one's more of an American vibe. So you can get to choose once you get here. This is the bridge that connects lower downtown with the lower highlands, and we're right next to the Platte River, and a lot of people come here to do their workout. They go on a bike ride. Some people just want to go walking. It's just an awesome place. You can go all the way from downtown Denver. You can get to the south part of Littleton. You can actually get into the state park over there. You can go all the way from downtown Denver to Chatfield State Park taking this trail. And on the opposite side, you can actually make it past Thornton. I think even into Brighton. I'm not sure, I gotta check on that, but basically this trail is huge, and if you like cycling, it's a perfect spot to go. I will say though that it can get busy, and if you want to go fast, it might not be the place for you. It's called the Collective Eatery, and basically it's a lot of restaurants came together to rent this place, and so they have all kinds of foods. They have arepas, so you order at the restaurant that you want to eat at. They give you the little thing that vibrates, and then you pick up your food. So this solves the issue that a lot of people have when going out with friends, that some people want to eat some things and other people want to eat others. This place solves that problem. And on the other side of the road, we have the Happy Camper, which again, it's another one of the locals' favorites. I'm over here by 32nd Avenue, and there's a lot of businesses over here in this area. There's a lot of apartments and single family homes in this area. A little over 56% of the properties over here were built after 1990, but also it's a fun fact that about 30% of the properties in this area were built in the 1800s. So it's a very big disparity where you either have properties that are kind of new or you have properties that are very old. And over here at the crossing of 32nd and Tejon Avenue is where you're going to see some of the restaurants and bars over here in the area. You're also going to have some places to hang out by I-25 and also on Platte Road, which we have already been there. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera, but we have what I call a money shot from this place into downtown Denver. We get to see Union Station and some of the buildings in downtown Denver. And about 80% of the properties in this area are going to be single family homes. The other 20% is going to be condominiums and townhomes. So it's something to take into account. This is one of the things that I really like about this neighborhood is that even though you're very close to downtown Denver, you have all the plus of living close to downtown Denver, the entertainment opportunities. You also get to have your own space. It's not like other neighborhoods where you're going to be kind of forced to be living in a condo or an apartment. And that's why a lot of people love living in the Highlands over here in Denver, Colorado. And right over there, it's one of the places that's always packed. It's called Little Man Ice Cream. There's always a long line of people waiting for that ice cream. And about 70% of the people in this neighborhood are from 20 years old to 45 years old. So it's a very young neighborhood. And it's only about 12% of the households that have a family. So that is a higher family rate than in other places over here in downtown Denver, Colorado. But it is still a very family friendly place. Lots of kids playing over here in the park. And so you might be wondering, everybody must be renting in that area. And that's actually not true. About 37% of the people who live here are living in owner-occupied homes. So 40% of the people are living in their own home, while 60% are renting. Now, you want to be in a place where you can walk. This neighborhood actually has an 85 walk score. It has a 55 transit score and an 89 bike score. So it's a great neighborhood if you want to walk places or if you want to bike around. Transit, not as much.